What is good, Cardano fam, ADA gang? We have lots of exciting updates to unpack today, so hit that subscribe, hit that like. Cardano ADA 24-hour trade volume surpasses $1 billion according to CoinGecko. CoinGecko also ranks Cardano as this week's 6th most trending asset, surpassing Dogecoin, Hyperliquid, and Toncoin. Input-output improves Hydra and says the Hydra team completed key security checks, usability upgrades, and are planning a new release soon. Input-output also advances Ouroboros Leios closer to integration, says the Leios team ran 10,000 node simulations, enhanced formal specifications, and proposed solutions for transaction handling. Input-output says the Mithril team shipped a new pre-release with snapshot conversion and client improvements. As a recap, Mithril enables secure and efficient interactions for light wallets, layer 2 solutions, and stake pool operators by eliminating the need for full node synchronization. So Mithril will play a crucial role for light clients. Cardano Foundation CEO Frederik Gregaard meets with US policymakers in Washington, D.C., gaining insights into their efforts around the Genius Act for Stablecoin Bill and Digital Asset Clarity Bill, ensuring Cardano's contributions are recognized at the highest levels of policy discussion. This is fantastic to have CF in Washington talking about Cardano. This is great. He goes on to say that Cardano's foundational principles are perfectly aligned with the need for transparent, verifiable, and programmable assets that meet the rigorous demands of institutional adoption. Safe and secure, mission critical, resilience, right? He also met with Sundial Founder Sheldon Hunt and says enabling programmable Bitcoin is monumental. It unlocks immense capital efficiency, new financial primitives, and broadens Bitcoin's utility beyond just store of value. This is fantastic. Grayscale featuring Cardano in their smart contract platform's crypto sector. And there's only a few projects they feature on their website, including Ethereum, Solana, Polygon, Polkadot, Tron, and of course, Cardano. So good stuff. Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson did a stream last night, mostly on stablecoins and any concerns with the conversations regarding USDM and increasing liquidity with stables. He says hundreds of millions of dollars of ADA changes hands on a daily basis. The markets are deep enough to absorb within 30 to 90 days using time-weighted average prices, over-the-counter options, and other mechanisms, a $100 million sale without moving ADA's price, probably less than 0.5%. So when people are concerned about negative sell pressure by converting a little bit of the Treasury into stablecoins, frankly, they don't know what they're talking about. Charles Hoskinson says we as an ecosystem have to be willing to invest in ourselves. We can't go to venture capitalists when we are unwilling to deploy assets from our own treasury. When you have assets for a public good, diversifying them preserves their buying power. And the way I put it is like, imagine Age of Empires. You have tons of resources. You don't want to build a unit. You don't want to build a building. And you're puzzled why you don't have growth. Guys, we have to be realistic. Why would Tether or Circle or big DeFi enthusiasts come to an ecosystem where the stablecoin's liquidity is shallow and the selection is limited? So this would supercharge stablecoin liquidity, and we could do a variety of assets, and he will talk about that here, where he says we're exploring if we could take $100 million of ADA in the treasury and convert it to a blend of stablecoins in Cardano. So USDM, USDA, and ADA-backed stable synthetics like IUSD and more, and convert some to Bitcoin to prime Bitcoin DeFi. Charles says we'll work on a proposal to get ratios expected in DeFi of at least 33% to 40% between stablecoin issuance and network TVL. This will enhance the possibility of getting Cardano stablecoins listed on Tier 2 and Tier 3 exchanges and improve liquidity overall. Charles says converting 5 to 10% of the treasury into stablecoins and Bitcoin will not materially impact Cardano. We could create yield, purchase ADA, replenish the treasury, and grow to over a $1 billion stablecoin and Bitcoin treasury to enhance ADA's value. Charles says solving stablecoin liquidity, a blend of stablecoins, synthetic assets, and creating demand for yield, we could see a 5 to 10x of outside capital flooding in, as it's a bullish signal that Cardano's investing in its own ecosystems, right? It's not very complicated, so I don't understand why people would be opposed to kind of supercharging our stablecoins. Charles says Bitcoin DeFi transaction fees could go to the treasury as well. And let's say Tether or Circle use Cardano to issue stablecoins on Bitcoin, right? Like Bitcoin-backed stablecoins. They can pay their transaction fees in the stable assets thanks to Babel fees. So we must build infrastructure and keep in mind this multi-asset treasury. And it's not just because of this. We'll see in a moment with Midnight. Charles says institutions are acquiring ADA in chunks for exchange-traded products or ETPs. So there won't be an issue at all for a $100 million divestment. The hope is that we have a stablecoin proposal by Rare Evo that can be discussed in detail with the community. And it's still early days, but that's what they're working on. Charles says the treasury will inevitably be multi-asset because of partner chains. Midnight will pay Knight token to stake pool operators and ADA delegators. Once we enable the treasury to accept Cardano native assets, partner chain fees could go to the treasury as well. And then we have to ask ourselves, do we just let it sit because we're afraid of like the smallest negative price impact? Guys, we gotta spend money to make money, it's not that complicated, but I digress. It's actually showing, and I usually don't like to create any friction, and I say this with all due respect, but there are a lot of people with just no business acumen, no business experience. They don't understand UX principles, desirability, feasibility, viability, and they'll just voice their opinion as if it's like sound. And so this is obviously, we have to have dissenting views and conversations and the good and the bad, but I think the benefits really outweigh the bad. And so I think supercharging stablecoin growth on Cardano would be very welcome. And if we use Ripple as a case example, they invested in their enterprise grade RLUSD. They tried to acquire Circle, they didn't, but then they also got USDC natively on XRPL. So we have to be treating this like a business. Stake with Pride says Midnight is Cardano. Midnight validators must run Cardano nodes. Knight CNT will generate dust on Midnight. Now, if I recall correctly, dust is not like the tradable token, right? It's a dual token model. But in a nutshell, this is fantastic. That basically Midnight, Cardano are so tied to the hip, and stake pool operators, delegators, they will both benefit. And a nice update as well. Tactical says any Cardano wallet that supports dApp connector will be eligible to support the Midnight airdrop. So guys, it's still early days. We don't know exactly when. And it's going to be, I think, like a revolutionary drop with Glacier. So it might not play out how we're expecting, right? Every airdrop's a little different in terms of the claim processes. So we'll have to wait and see what that looks like. So what else is going on? Guys, huge like tensions with, what's going on around the world with war and whatnot. So do your best to stay positive, filter out the noise, you know what I'm saying? What else is going on? We have Trump Media's SEC registration for its Bitcoin treasury officially effective, and Amazon and Walmart explore launching their own stablecoins, Wall Street Journal reports. So that's why we have the price dipping is, right, all the negativity and the FUD and the war going on around the world. So it is what it is, right? 6.4, but I think that we're going to bounce back from this. We've seen dips worse than this. And frankly, like, it's not too bad. I think that this is a good buying opportunity. I've been telling people, send it lower, I'll buy it more. And this is in that fair value range that myself and Crypto Banter's Sheldon, many more are saying. That I think that 60 to 70 cents is fair range. I think that 51 cent is the local floor. And given like the crazy fiasco right now globally, like Still, Bitcoin's holding very well and didn't really go under 100K. 106 for Bitcoin, ADA 642, XRP 2.15. So everything's looking pretty good. We're still going to have to wait for these global tensions to calm down and at the same time allow Russell 2000 index to reclaim its highs, macroeconomics to fall into place, legislation to fall into place. But bullish, guys. I think that we have a positive future ahead of us. I'm going to give the shout out to Cardano Foundation CEO for just doing a great job in Washington as well. So I think that, guys, like, institutions are accumulating, and this goes hand in hand with what Charles said, that institutions are grabbing chunks of ADA for their ETPs. So while paper hands are selling, institutions are accumulating, and that's just smart money playing its role while retail is sidelined. So I will stay positive. You guys stay positive, stay stoic, stay strong. When there's a lot of fear, usually it's a good idea to buy the fear, generally speaking. And so I'll watch the dips and see if there's new buying opportunities to continue to take advantage of. Let me know what you're most excited for. Let me know what news you guys are paying attention. And what do you think about this general idea to supercharge stablecoin growth in our ecosystem? Is it good? Is it bad? Why? And smash that subscribe, smash that like. I'll see you guys in the next Angry Crypto Show.